welcome back to the alignment. We're here again addressing.
Just let the giggles come out.
Apologies for the distraction. Today we are back, the alignment, that long awaiting revival. We've had a bit of a hiatus, but we're back again. And today we want to talk a bit about harmony in relationships. A very important topic, obviously. And I suppose we'll just sort of be channeling or just free associating on this sort of topic, on how we understand it, how we in our own relationship have navigated harmony and disharmony to hopefully provide something of use and insight for those of you watching or listening. But any sort of initial thoughts for yourself?
I think this is a fabulous topic because a lot of relationships go through phases, I believe, of harmony, and then they go through phases of disharmony. But I think that between us, that what works best for us is that we have this fundamental understanding between us that no matter what disharmony we're coming across, we want to get back into harmony, and we're helping each other do that. So I think that's something that's really helpful for us.
Yeah,
just the intention, really.
Yeah, because if you do not have the intention to reach some kind of equilibrium, kind of an alignment, pun intended, between the two of you, what is your intention? You can only really bind with another person, or you can sort of repel or break away from them. I think sometimes people unconsciously don't realize in themselves that when they're acting out a particular behavior with their partner, that the effect of that is sort of repelling them.
Yeah.
And I'm curious about what you feel about that sort of those behaviors. How do we perhaps unconsciously, whether through projection or whatever psychological term people use nowadays, how do we unconsciously create rifts and disharmonies within relationships?
I think disharmony doesn't just occur one night, out of the blue. Disharmony, especially with people living with each other, or, that they're in the same space together, I think it's built up resentment that eventually leads into disharmony. And I feel that when one person doesn't voice out what is bothering them or what is causing them distress or something that they don't like, or when you don't express your boundaries just for the sake of not upsetting another individual, I think you swallow that emotion and that stays with you. And then that's what you're projecting onto the other person. It's all your emotional, suppressed items, basically. Your suppressed psyche. And then in bits and pieces, you bicker, and then it always leads into annoyance. I think annoyance is the first sign that something is not being done properly, or that something is being rubbed the wrong way. But yeah, I feel that the solution to something like this is always talking. Talk about things that you feel may upset the other person, but if it's important to you to express, I think we should all talk about things we're uncomfortable with, because communication is what is going to solve it. You keeping it to yourself, sleeping overnight with it, not saying anything about it, isn't going to do you good or the other person any good. What really works is just being honest, even if you don't like something. And I think that's just a very simple way to bring disharmony into harmony, by speaking up.
Yeah, I feel as though a lot of the reason why sort of repression happens, not just in relationships, but within people and for their individual lives, it sort of roots from a fear of confronting truth. Yeah. And in a relationship context, people fear speaking of pushing boundaries or telling the other person, okay, this is what you did and this is how it made me feel.
Yeah.
People feel that fear doing that because, they fear upsetting another person. They fear creating conflict. But like you said, sort of without addressing these sorts of these issues, they will have a tendency to accumulate over and over again, building up an annoyance within the relationship. And the only way to counteract that is to cultivate a sort of environment of safety and safe expression between the two people, where they feel like they can speak and reach a place where both people can speak their truth and both people can accept one another's truth. Both people have this sort of the insight that, like, okay, yes, we have our own perceptions, and sometimes our perceptions are skewed. Sometimes we don't see reality clearly. I think especially nowadays, people have a tendency to say, oh, you're gaslighting me, or you're a narcissist, or you're this or that.
Yeah.
We throw sort of psychological jargon around, and often
it's harsh.
Yeah, it's harsh and it's accusatory, and people always want to take the stance of being a victim and the other person is doing something to me, as opposed to sort of taking a more nuanced perspective where they can acknowledge that, okay, yes, sometimes there are things that other people do to me, but sometimes there are things that I do to the other person.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of courage and ruthless introspection to do that, which a lot of people don't have the capacity to have.
No.
A lot of rifts in relationships are due to a lack of introspection on both parties.
Yeah.
And if you're not introspecting in yourself, your own patterns, you're going to have relationships or, toxic relationships. So it's like, so this sort of comes to the sort of the cliche saying that, like, you attract what you are. If you're unhealed, you're going to attract an unhealed relationship. If you are healed, you're going to attract more healed relationships. But it's obviously true. And it's very important for people to watch their patterns, particularly when they're in a relationship. A relationship is a very powerful, yoga.
A mirror.
Yeah, it's a mirror, a portal to self-inquiry, and it's very intense. And people have to acknowledge that. They have to acknowledge the seriousness of being with someone in an intimate way.
I feel that a lot of things that you've said has shed a lot of light on the patterns between two people. And I feel that one specific thing that you were talking about is that victimhood. The person that retreats to victimhood in an argument is usually because they're failing to take responsibility for something that they've done, because that's easier. That's easier than taking responsibility for, like, taking accountability that, I did this to you and I'm sorry that I made you feel that way. That simple sentence is so difficult for majority of the people to own up to. And why that is, that's rooted in ego.
Yeah.
So the thing is that ego and love do not work very well together. They are on two different sides of the spectrum. Either you have your ego and then manifest or attract a partner, confirmation, that's a big honk. You attract a partner that has the ego as well. So then it's a battle of the egos. But the thing is that if you retreat into the space of love and understanding, love is at its highest form, I believe, is understanding the other person or yourself. That is self-love to me. If I can comprehend myself, I'm happy. It makes other people easy for me to understand. So I feel that if it's a real relationship and you really want something vulnerable and solid, you have to understand that you yourself have to keep your own ego aside. Also, your partner has to do the same as well. That's when there's real fundamental compatibility, when your partner is also aware that, this is my ego playing out in this argument and I want to win. But you also have awareness that, but I'm contributing to this because it's my ego expanding this as well. So you both retreat back, right? You go back a step and then you look at it with love. Like, oh, if I was talking to the person I love, would I speak to them this way? Would I use this tone? Would I speak to myself in this manner? I think arguments and relationships are the best playground for seeing subconscious hidden patterns, because you learn more in a relationship more than you staying alone by yourself. Because if you're alone by yourself, you're not really exposing yourself to the patterns. So I feel that it's very important to experience these things no matter how hard it is or how much it hurts. But I think that it's very good for understanding yourself as a mirror.
Yeah, and I think maybe a lot of people fear entering into relationships for that reason. Or the
Talks opens up.
Yeah, and their ego fears being truly vulnerable and merging with another person. Yeah, it's ego is a sort of a function within us that when it's overactive, it can impair our ability to
bond.
Yeah, to bond, to merge, to flow with another person. We're still looking at them through the eyes of I'm in here, and that is someone different to me.
Yeah.
And of course, arguments, they're, potent pieces of shadow work, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because they take you into a sort of an emotionally volatile and intense atmosphere whereby your emotional reactions come to the surface. And if one is not aware enough to watch those streams of reactions that stir up within yourself, it's very easy to just get caught up in your emotions. Of course, we have to acknowledge our reactions, we have to acknowledge our emotions, but I think part of the cultivation of awareness is being able to, reside as the witness, to see it, and, to not be totally consumed by it. And, sorry, that's a mosquito on my arm. But of course, we shouldn't get lost in just being a witness. We should remember that we are participants in reality, of course. And part of being a participant is that you will feel human emotions that will stir up. And relationships are always stirring human emotion.
I was just going to make a joke on that. The human condition, there is no better place to experience emotions than a relationship. It's like it will take you through everything. It will show you all emotions you probably haven't even felt in your entire life. And it will expose you like a roller coaster to all of it. All of the things that you've been either hiding or refusing to accept within yourself shows up in form of the other person. So I think if you're having a harmonious, healthy relationship, I think that's just a sign of reflection of how much work you've done within yourself and how many patterns of yours you've recognized within yourself. So, yeah.
Yeah, a question I want to ask is, how do you think our relationship has changed you?
I think our relationship hasn't changed. I think it has just opened up like a flower. It's just that it has bloomed in its own time. And I think that there were still parts of us, the both of us, that we were very vulnerable initially. And as soon as we started spending more time together, traveling the road so much, we've been in many situations where we've bonded in ways that I can't imagine. And I think because of the levels of trust, intimacy, vulnerability, emotional connection, and there's a dragonfly here. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
In front of
Come in appearance, but
so lots of dragonflies.
I love dragonflies. It's my spirit animal. But yeah, so I was saying, yeah, that's a sign. But yeah, things like that. Magic happens. Magic happens when you spend time together. And I think the more time you spend together, the more I've learned about you and you've learned about me. And I think that's important data for us to love each other in the way that you want to be loved, not in the way that I want to love you. It's more important for me to love you in the way you wish to be loved. And that's the thing that many people don't really understand in love languages. It's not that you have to be at a level of maturity emotionally. Like, you know how this intellectual stuff and you're very intellectually smart, but then emotionally you're very daft. And you know nothing about how another person wishes to be loved or felt. And I think that's a good place to start, because you can always ask the other person. Like sometimes, let's say, for example, Ryan, I'll ask you, do you want this tea or do you want it warm, cold or something? I'll ask you exactly what you want.
When I wanted a cold tea.
No, it's for an example, because I like my tea a little cold. Now that's a bit weird, but you know, people are unique. Yeah. But what I'm saying is it's out of care and intention that, okay, how would you like a certain thing to be? You know, like that's me taking care of you, even if it's in a very minute way.
And I think,
yeah,
I think it's a beautiful thing, because I've never sort of experienced the level of sort of attentive care before, you know, I met you. And I think it's a beautiful thing to really, you know, give to someone that, you know, you are paying attention to them and their needs and how they wish to be held, how they wish to be, you know, talked to and loved ultimately. I think it's a tragedy that a lot of people are starved of that. And, you know, I myself was starved of that for a long, long time. And so I can relate to what it is like to have to take care of yourself. And it's quite challenging thing. And I think humans, we're naturally social animals. We require that kind of connection, that bond. And if it's absent, which I thought was increasingly becoming so as people are just more and more in the digital social media matrices.
And just hyper-independence as well.
Hyper-independent.
I'm going to talk about that.
Maybe they have relationships to AI chatbots now rather than that.
And robotic girlfriends or boyfriends.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
I think this is leading to this profound soul sickness in human beings that I don't know exactly how to resolve that other than by bringing light to it. And by bringing light to the importance of relationships, how to establish harmony in relationships, and also the notion of how relationships are a portal to self-inquiry. You know, the sort of the general stereotypes of monks, I suppose, is those people who are, you know, they've shunned relationship, or they're ascetics, or they're celibate, or whatever.
So it's cubism.
Yeah, and they're sort of
renunciating to a certain
reality and a human condition, and but I think, you know, to be human and to reject human relationship is rejecting
the biggest forms of love.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's a good place to sort of sign off there. With some parting thoughts for the viewers. Is there anything else you want to sort of?
I think this episode has been quite potent already. Don't let them soak that in. But if you definitely have questions and you watch us or you come across this, you can definitely let us know, and we will make more videos based on your questions and your suggestions, and we will love that.
Yes.
Yeah, we love feedback.
Of course. So I hope this has been interesting and insightful, and you know, like my wife said, leave a comment, get in contact with her if you have any thoughts, any requests, yada yada. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.
Bye.